Hey everyone, welcome back. Ryan the Vintage Viking, and I have my August wrap up for you.
Hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
Hey guys, I'm here editing, and I just realized that throughout this whole entire video, I basically say that it is August, and I refer to what I'm reading in October, and so somehow I just kind of completely missed the month of September. So this is the wrap up for the month of September, not August, even though I say that 100 times during the video. So be warned, and apologies. So I'm gonna kind of go through these. If I can later on, I'm gonna do some individual reviews. If there's some that you specifically want to hear about, put them in the comments and I'll maybe write a review about it or give you a synopsis, scenario, whatever you guys want, whatever you want. So first up in August, I do have to say some of these books, one of these books specifically, I started months ago and finished it in August. I have a couple other books. I usually have 4 or 5 going at a time. I have a couple other ones that I've put on hold for the month because I'm reading only horror books this October. So I kind of paused them in the middle, and which is, I know.
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
I know.
You idiot. You're honestly an idiot.
I hear you. I know. I get it. It's insane. But I tried to wrap up as many as I could, and I have 2 that are set to the side for now, and they're waiting. And it'll just have to be what it is. So first up, I'm going to go in order from least favorite to most favorite this month, and we'll do it that way so you can see. Least favorite book I read this past month, 3 Body Problem by Cixin Liu, I would say. Maybe. Does that sound right? I don't know if that's correct or not. But I was really excited for this. I bought the whole box set. I was just looking forward to it for months, and I kept putting it off, and then I was like, okay, I'm reading it this month. And it started off okay for me. It started off okay. I was a little bit confused at what was going on, but something about it was drawing me in at the very beginning. There was, you know, like a scene where one of the guys is like being kind of martyred for what he believes and things like that, and so it was kind of intense. And then it just went off the cliff. It was so boring. You know, the old saying, like watching paint dry. It was just like,
It's so boring.
How does that work? Where does that expression come from? It doesn't make any sense.
Make it stop.
bro. It felt like there was no depth in anything. All the characters were just blah. It was like wooden blocks.
Time to talk about wood blocks. Well, here's what not to do first.
You know, they were just like, hi, I'm a 2x4. Oh, very cool. I'm a 4x6. Wow. Okay, I'm particle board. You know, it was just like so blah. It was just so boring. I was excited to be done with it. So, sorry, not sorry. Okay. I know it's a very, very, very popular book. The second one I read, and I kind of read this out of order because there's a prequel. I don't know if it matters. I know there's some characters that cross over, but I'm not sure that it really matters. And maybe it was because I read both these books at the same time that I just wasn't into it. Is A Deepness in the Sky, Vernor Vinge. And this is the sequel to Fire Upon the Deep, or Fire Upon the Deep is the prequel to this. I don't remember. This one took me months. This one literally took me months because I did not want to pick it up all the time. But I felt obligated to do so, and once I was a certain depth into it, then I kind of just went, okay, well, we're seeing this bad boy through. It started so interesting. I feel like if you took maybe like this much of it, and then you cut out like this much of it, and then put the two ends together, it would have been really good. I felt like the whole middle was just characters talking about nonsense, and seemed like rehashing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over. And I'm like, let's move on, let's get somewhere. So I may just be completely burnt out on space operas, so this month of reading horror books maybe will kind of refresh, but I'm like really burnt on those. There's a great review, a recap on having read Fire Upon the Deep from Ira over at Sci-Fi Words of Wonder, and so I would highly recommend you go check that out, and make sure you sub, like, all that fun stuff. Okay, and he has some awesome videos going through tons of books right now, and you'll enjoy it. So and then if you want to rant on Three Body Problem, you can go over to Book Pilled too, and Matt just posted a video about that not too long ago. All right, so another book that I read, this one, those two were the ones I just didn't, they were blah. The rest of them are okay, at least, if not great. So the next one I read was The Pearl by John Steinbeck. My daughter is reading this or had to read it for school. So she has a list of, I think 8 or 9 books this year that she has to read for English. And so I'm going to read all the books that she's reading. So Pearl was the first one. So I read through it. I'd never read this one before, and it was enjoyable. It was a easy read. It's short. It's sweet. And has a kind of interesting message. And basically the premise is that this man and his wife have a little baby, and the little baby gets, I think it was stung by a scorpion. Pretty sure it was stung by a scorpion, and the baby's sick. And so they need to find some way to take care of the baby. They go to a doctor, and the doctor's like, hey, you're poor people. I don't, no. We don't do that here. We only cater to the rich folk. And so they go, well, we got to find some money. So they go searching for a pearl, and he ends up finding this massive, extremely valuable pearl. And then he then goes to try to sell it and do things like that. And then all this kind of stuff happens to them because of the pearl. And it reminded me a lot of, like, sometimes people win the lottery or something, then their lives are destroyed because they win the lottery. Has that same kind of message to it. There's stuff that goes on in there that was like, wait, what? Well, did that really just happen in this book? Like, okay. So it's worth reading, especially if you've never read any Steinbeck. It's impressive. So next, I also read Christopher Rowley, Pleasure Model. This is a heavy metal pulp. I've never read any of these heavy metal pulp before. As you can tell by the cover, I was kind of thinking, all right, this is going to be sleazy. And it starts off with like some dominatrix, some weird, like, whippings and beatings and stuff. It's like half comic, half print. But this is written by the same guy who wrote The Vang. And so I was kind of excited to read it because I really enjoyed The Vang. This is a 3-part series. I have the other 2, and I will read the other 2. I enjoyed it. There's some pages and some chapters in here, and you're like, okay, whatever. And you just kind of breeze through it. But it was a fun read. It was just a fun read. It's basically a mystery of somebody who witnesses a murder, and then they're kind of involved in trying to escape the murder or figure it out. And then there's a detective that's, tagging along trying to solve what's happening and, make it through the night kind of thing. And so it was good. It was fun. Next one, Death Tour by David Michael. And I feel like I read this like even longer ago, but I think I started it in July and finished it in August. So forgive me if I've talked about this before. I'm pretty sure I finished it in August. And it was really a fun, goofy, campy, paperback from hell story. It was enjoyable. I have to say the cover is a little bit deceiving. So be warned. Yeah, the story takes some twists and turns that aren't quite what that would lead you to believe is going to happen. Fun book, though. All right, so I love Scalzi's writing, John Scalzi, and I don't know what happened, but I had started this book like, I don't know, 6-7 months ago. I read like 3 chapters, and then I think I don't know what happened to it. I like lost it here somewhere.
How? How? How?
I don't know.
In my pile of books, and then I just forgot about it and didn't go back to it. I don't know why I did that, but I was organizing the other day and I came across it and I went, hey, wait a minute. I wanted to read that, or I was reading that. What's going on? So I picked it back up and started reading again, and it is really good. Kaiju Preservation Society by John Scalzi. It is a fun read. It is a easy read. It's nothing, mind-boggling or anything like that. It's just a fun, cool sci-fi story. Thoroughly enjoyable. His writing style, as always, it's a joy to read his books. I don't know how else to describe it. I like reading his books, and I'm into the story, and I'm laughing, I'm smiling as I'm reading it. I'm like, there's jokes that are cracked and I'm laughing, and some of them are dad jokes, but whatever, it's fun, right? I like that kind of stuff. So it's just he's an enjoyable author. So and this is no exception. This is just as good as some of his other ones. Old Man's War is still better than that, but it's just a fun read. Next up, I finally read Bird Box, okay? And I was so excited to read this. I read it, and then both my daughter and my son, we all sat down and watched the movie. And it was pretty darn close to the movie for the most part. There's some changes, obviously, that are made, but it's pretty close, and it was exciting. It was a good read. I'm glad I didn't go watch the movie first and then go read the book, because I hadn't watched it in so long. It kind of felt a little bit new at some parts, like I hadn't remembered certain things, and it felt fresh and new. It does have more detail than you get out of the movie, so the book has a little bit more detail. I think there's a little bit more graphic scenes in the book than there is in the movie, and there are some major changes where you're like, hey, wait a minute, that's different. So anyways, it was good. I also read Dark Tower #2. I read Dark Tower 1 a while ago, and Dark Tower 1 was kind of slow. It was good, but it didn't make me want to rush to read this book. So I finally just picked it back up because I try to read at least one Stephen King a month. And so I was like, well, before it gets too far along and I completely forget what Dark Tower 1 was about, I should probably start, keep going on the series. So I read this one. It starts off pretty unique. The idea is that there's 3 different kind of interactions with people that take place, major interactions with people that take place throughout the story, and it's kind of the walkthrough of those things, and there's like a team that's being sort of built of people. I love this one so much that I immediately picked up #3 and started reading #3 and finished #3. By the time I was done with #3, I wanted to pick up #4, and I had to force myself to not just read Dark Tower this month. I really wanted to read the next one, and I couldn't wait.
I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it.
But I love them both. They were great. 2, I felt like, was better than 3 was. But both of them were better than #1. So if that helps you any. I don't know how the rest of the series goes. I don't know what people say, if it's, gets better, gets worse, what have you. I don't know. I just know that that these two made me want to devour the whole series right away. So I'm looking forward to that. Maybe in November I'll just read the rest of them. Maybe I'll have a Stephen King month one month. I don't know. And then my favorite book I read this month, last one. And like I said, I have a few more that I started that I didn't finish by the end of the month, but my absolute favorite, and I wanted to read every single one in this series too, and I had to stop myself, was Firefly. Big damn hero.
Here's the guy there just in the nick of time. What does that make us?
Big damn hero, sir.
Ain't we just?
So good. If you like Firefly, if you have any love for Firefly whatsoever, I highly recommend you read this. It is like watching an episode that was never released, and they find the secret episode and they release it, and it's like experiencing Firefly again for the first time. It was so good. Everybody's in it, and you're so familiar with everyone. Even the Mandarin's in it. Even the snarky remarks and all that stuff. It's all there. All of it's there. It's all there. It's so good. I can't wait to read the rest. I have 6 of them still to go, so I'm excited. You should read those. If you like Firefly, well, if you don't like Firefly, what's wrong with you, for one? I'm assuming everybody likes Firefly. If you haven't read them, you need to read them, okay? They're phenomenal. They're phenomenal. It was so good. I can't wait to read the rest. I've already read a couple horror books this month. I already read one that people voted on. So one of the ones I want to add to the list and read is Let's Go Play at the Adams. I've heard this is very disturbing. I need to read it. It's highly important, so must be read. Second, and I actually started this one today, is Wrath. Well, I've never heard anybody talk about this book ever, so I would say probably most people have never heard of it, read it, anything. So far I've only got to there's like these experiments on animals where they can like genetically modify them to do certain things. So like they had I think the first one was like a fish, like a firefish, I think it was called, and it basically glowed with like this massive amount of lumens in the tank, and so it would light up and be all pretty. And then there was another one. It was like I can't remember now, drawing a blank. There was a horse one. Oh, there was a bird one. Yeah. So anyway, they're modifying these things, and eventually they come to this rat that's being modified, and it's modified to look and be like really cute, and people are attracted to it and they want it as a pet. And the whole idea is to give people pets that they can interact with, and that wouldn't normally be pets. That's really as far as I got. So after this video, I'm going for more. So, and then I added one that is supposed to be very disturbing, and sounds phenomenal. Probably will be a one sit kind of read through, and it is His Pain by Rath James Wright. So this one's supposed to be very good. I'll read the back. Life is pain, or at least it is for Jason. Born with a rare central nervous disorder, every sensation is pain. Can you imagine? I can't even fathom having every sensation be pain. Every sound, every scent. Actually, side note here while I'm reading this, I had a friend whose daughter got Lyme disease and was bit by a tick and got Lyme disease. And that Lyme disease caused almost something similar to this. Every sound, every light, every vibration, all her nerves weren't always on fire, but like everything, all the senses were completely painful. And it was a very difficult scenario. So I think of that when I'm reading the synopsis here. Every sound, scent, texture, flavor, even every breath brings nothing but mind-numbing pain. His days are spent in a padded room, addicted to every narcotic known to man. At night, he is sealed in a sensory deprivation bag to block out the entire world. Pain is all Jason has ever known about the world. Until the arrival of Yogi Arjuna of the Temple of Physical Enlightenment, He claims to be able to help Jason, to be able to give him a life of more than agony. But the treatment leaves Jason changed, and he wants to share what he learned. He wants to share his pain. From hardcore horror master Rath James Wright comes a novella of pain, pleasure, and transcendental splatter. Sounds great. And I did not know, I kind of want to do a little thing on Rath James Wright now and read more about him and do a little video. I didn't know he's a former world-class heavyweight kickboxer. That's crazy. Professional kickboxing and mixed martial arts trainer, distance runner, performing artist, and former street brawler who is known for creating some of the most disturbing works of fiction in print. That's awesome. I don't know why that's awesome, but it's awesome. So anyways, that's on my list. Appreciate you guys. Catch you on the next one.